Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Serious Stuff 45 from the Am I the A-hole subreddit. Does come with an update as well, and it's titled Am I the Arsehole for not moving out of my apartment so my brother can have it. I, female 23, have an older brother 32. I moved out of my parents' house earlier than him and found a small place for myself that is really close to my job. The place is not the biggest, it's a 1-bedroom apartment, but it's enough for one person and rent is very cheap, so I'm extremely happy with it. I put a lot of work into it and made sure it's my little happy space. Recently, my brother started staying over now and then. I don't have a problem with that. He works the night shift and my place is also closer to his job than my parents' house. The problem began when he started bringing more and more of his stuff to my place. He brought his PS4, started gaming in my living room, and is overall just being a terribly inconsiderate guest and treats me like our mum. I brought this up with my parents and my dad suggested that I let my brother live there and get myself a new apartment. He said I should look for a bigger place because my brother makes less money and he could afford my place and I could find something better. But I don't want a bigger apartment. I have no plans to have a family or a partner where I would need anything more than a 1-bedroom. And I put so much work into personalizing my apartment that this feels so unfair. My parents said I'd be an arsehole for both, kicking my brother out now for staying over and not giving him the place. Is that true? Edit with some additional info. My brother does not pay rent to me. He used to stay here for only a couple of days, but it's been turning into weeks. Edit 2. I did contact my landlord as of yesterday. She hasn't responded yet, but she's nice, so I hope she'll be understanding of my situation. Also, additional info. I didn't know my parents or my dad would react like this. I thought it'd help me talk to him. We don't have a bad relationship. I'm trying to figure out why he thinks my brother should have my apartment too. But my dad hasn't been responsive since that conversation. The absolute cheeky bastards. I kind of wonder if, the parents are just trying to get rid of the brother. They don't want him living with them, so they're just trying to find the easier solution, and that's to try and manipulate you into this situation. Absolutely, it's your apartment, you're paying the rent on it. Like you said, it's your little happy space. He should be looking after himself at this age, or the parents can take him in. This is up to them. You've worked hard for this. Oh, I can't get that. Absolute cheeky bloody so-and-sos. Cat Mum says, not the arsehole. Please do not let your family bully you into giving up the thing you worked hard for. Your brother is a grown-ass man, 32 years old, and can definitely find another place if he needs to, and can't be a considerate guest. That is your space, and you need to put your foot down / have a strong backbone, because clearly your parents are going to side with him once you make it clear you aren't giving him the place. Also, why do you need something bigger? What you have works for you. Again, don't let anyone bully you or manipulate you. He's 30. Let that man figure his own shit out. He isn't your responsibility. If you need him out, kick his ass out. Dulaf says, I can't decide if your brother has always been your parents' favourite, or if they are just so desperate to get a 32-year-old man out of their house that they are willing to screw you over in the process. Either way, not the arsehole, and get that parasite out of your happy place, ASAP. K9 Freak says, please, please, please see that you are 100% deserving of your own space that you found, that suits you, that you created. They are more than welcome to help him find a different cheap place to live. Change the locks, move him back home. Okatan says, not the arsehole, OP. It's absolutely insane that they have the audacity to ask you to move out of your home so your brother can move in. Completely ridiculous. He needs to find his own place, and soon. Andrea says, not the arsehole. It's your apartment. You're paying the rent. It's your name on the rental agreement. Stay where you are. Boot him out. He can find himself another apartment. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. It's for one single person or an intimate couple. Check your rental agreement. See if there is a way your landlord can help you move him out. And one more comment from Alarm Jellyfish, who says, not the arsehole. I think we've figured out why your brother is such an entitled arsehole. Your parents have clearly been enabling him all his life. He's 32. You're 23. This is utterly absurd. Remove your brother's things immediately so he can't pull anything, and stop letting him stay at your place. Bring his belongings to your parents' place. If they're so concerned with his having a place to stay, then he can stay with them. They created this mess, they can clean it up. I'd suggest considering going low contact. At minimum, no contact may be needed until things settle, if not permanently. You're literally the only person in this situation who isn't a massive arsehole, and I'd bet money you're so used to your parents treating you a certain way and your brother another certain way, that's the reason you're so unsure of yourself. So I also would like to suggest therapy. I went with the same thing growing up with my parents and half-brother, and therapy is how I finally learned to set boundaries and stick to them. And there was a lot of talk in this about, how ridiculous the situation is, how ridiculous that request is, but how it may have been totally normalized, this kind of weird behavior, favoriting the brother and all this kind of thing, and manipulating OP, and that's been normalized for OP, which is incredibly sad. But let's move on to the update to see if OP took any of the advice. And OP says, "Hi. First, I want to say thank you all for the encouragement in the comments of my last post. It took me longer to deal with than I expected, but finally I think I found a solution. Several people asked for an update, so here it is. I attempted to talk to my father again, but at this point I'm assuming that a lot of the comments were right about them just wanting me to deal with my brother in their place. I took time off my work, scheduled to pack his shit together, and waited for him to crash here after work again, since I still needed the key back. Looking back, probably not the best move, but I was stressed and tired. It was an awful fight, but it did end with him eventually leaving my apartment and returning my keys. The reason I didn't get the locks changed is because my landlord reminded me that this could be very expensive and she wouldn't cover the cost for me. It's been several days and my brother has not contacted me since, nor attempted to enter my apartment. I'm still considering changing the lock. I might do so soon with landlord's permission and covering the cost myself, but it seems I have my space back. The thing that really bothers me is how my relationship with my parents suddenly suffered so much from this. My initial reaction when I asked them to help me throughout my brother and my dad responding with the apartment switch was that they couldn't be serious. Apparently they were. My mum did talk to me this week and said since I'm on good terms with my landlord, I could figure something out. It's completely ridiculous and almost comically evil at this point. I told her that's not how renting a space works. I don't even know if this is pure entitlement or ego. Doesn't matter though. I decided to lower contact with them over this until they find out what they did wrong. Regardless if they do or don't, my family are not the main characters of my life and I'm done with being a doormat to them. It took some encouragement to stand up for myself and I want to thank everyone who gave it to me. And I think OP handled that in one of the best ways possible really. Lowering that contact with the parents till they finally realize how they fucked up. They may never do so because they don't sound like they will in this situation. To me it sounded like they were just trying to get rid of brother and like throwing OP under the bus at the same time, which is just insane. I try to picture these situations where after I read them, what I would do if it was one of my family members, my brothers, etc. And I can just never picture one of my family members doing something like this. It is just wild behavior. I even found it sad that OP had to have what they described as an awful fight with brother to get him out the apartment, not brother stepping back and thinking, fuck yeah, I've really taken advantage of the situation here. I'm really sorry. Here's your keys back. Thank you for letting me stay while you did. Instead, turning it into a fight, it just shows the absolute wild level of entitlement from brother. The parents being absolute assholes in the situation is madness. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below and let's move on to another story. So our next story is from the Am I the A-Hole subreddit again with an update from WastePublic9374 and says, am I the a-hole for not inviting my mum to my baby shower? So background, I, 21 female, am 7 months pregnant. I got pregnant after my antipsychotics cancelled out my birth control. It took months of therapy for me to realize the blame isn't on my son and I'm somewhat happier. My son is also my parents' first grandchild. My baby shower is in April, just 3 weeks before my due date. My aunt is planning it and is making the invitations. So far it's all 3 of my aunts, siblings, grandparents and any cousin who can make it, along with any of my friends who want to come. I asked my ex-stepmom, dad left her for my mum 5 years ago, if she wanted to come. This woman helped my grandparents raise me and treated me like her own. I love her. She said yes, by the way. My mum, on the other hand, before she came back 5 years ago, I hadn't seen her for nearly 10 years. So I decided to not have her or my dad there because I want that day to be about my son and I without the drama. Well, my dad found out and thinks it's shitty of you to leave out your own mother when it's her first grandchild. I replied with, if you were actually there to raise me, I'd reconsider inviting you. But since you decided to ignore your 4 children, I'm a guess you'd do the same to your grandson. They haven't spoken to me since. What makes me wonder if I'm the arsehole is that my little sister, 15, has taken their side. I love my sister, and so her bashing me hurts. Everyone else is on my side, and so I brought it to Reddit to ask for an unbiased opinions. Now, again, this one's pretty simple for me in that you explained that she hadn't been in your life for nearly 10 years. She wasn't there to raise you, so why would you invite her to your baby shower? And like the last story, I try and step into the dad's, the mum's shoes in this and see the situation from your daughter's point of view, what she's been through for the last 10 years that you haven't been in her life, and say, yeah, I fucked up here. I need to respect her decision and do better in the future and try to be a part of her life. Not come into this and go, this is shitty of you to leave out your own mother when it's her first grandchild. This isn't about you. This is about your daughter and her grandchild and recognizing that you fucked up in the past. And try mending those bridges where possible if your daughter will allow it. I find it just mad the thought process that goes through some of these people's heads, man. But Trusted Triangle says not the arsehole. She wasn't there when you needed her. Even if she was, the invitation is totally in your hands. You're not obligated to invite anyone. Eldoen says not the arsehole. 3 weeks before your due date, you don't need unnecessary stress. You explain yourself very clear and they should honor it. Maybe your parents are pressuring your sister to make you change your mind. OP responds saying, I wouldn't be surprised. When my mum came back, my sister was 10, and that's when the trouble started. She started getting into fights, smoking, drinking, running away and sleeping around at the ages of 11 to 14. Every time our grandparents would try to discipline her, she'd run to mum till it blew over. So their bond is a lot stronger than what I even want. So MC replies that and says, so your mum corrupted her. That's terrible. OP says, luckily she calmed down last year. Her best friend was killed when they were 14 and that prompted my sister to get help. Unfortunately, my mum still has a hold on her. Teenage Peter Pan says not the arsehole. It's your baby shower and the focus should be on you. Preventing any potential drama aside, you have the right to invite who you want there and not invite those who you don't want there. It's really crappy when absent parents just magically show up when it's time for grandkids and expect everything to go according to their own plan. Then OP updates the post and says, hi everyone, it's been a year since the first post and in honor of my son turning 1 today, I thought I'd give you all a little update. First, my baby shower went off without a hitch. My ex-stepmother ended up backing out at the last second due to her own personal problems at the time, and she convinced me to invite my parents. For the most part, they behaved. I don't know if they were completely sober at the time, but my aunt and brother kept an eye on them. Second, my son was born May 16th at 9 pounds 15 ounces and 21 inches long. He's such a healthy, beautiful baby, I couldn't be prouder. For those who had concern about my mental health, while I still struggle, I've been taking my medication, continuing therapy and leaning on family. My mum still hasn't met her grandson. I have a strict rule stating no drugs and you have to be completely sober around my son. They thought I was joking till I blocked them. My dad is currently 6 months sober. My mum is leaving for a sober house today. I'm proud of the first step. Lastly, I want to thank everyone in the last thread. Your energy and thoughts carried with me throughout the party and it ended up being amazing. Thank you all. When I saw the size of that baby, I was like, whew. So was someone else. The top comment on that update said, good grief girl, you birthed a whopper of a baby. Are you okay? Congrats on your new arrival. I'm so glad things are going smoothly, which OP said they had a 20-hour labor. 7 hours in, they asked for an epidural, and 15 hours later they had to have a C-section because his big head got stuck. Whoever said the first baby is the best, lied, and I just want to have a talk. And that's a cheeky little update, isn't it? So congratulations on the birth of your baby, and I hope things continue to move in a positive way for you going forward. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story is from the Am I the A-hole subreddit that doesn't have an update on it. It's from Dramatic Anteater 134, who says, "Am I the arsehole for splashing women with water at the pool?" Those titles sometimes. "Swimming is my female 31 hobby and how I keep healthy. My favorite swimming pool is a local university pool. As a graduate, I have access, but they also have community hours when people from the town can pay and swim. It doesn't do lane swimming, but typically everyone knows to stay away from those doing laps. I was doing laps at the far end with the pool wall on my side, so I couldn't move if I wanted to. I was mid-session when two women my age jumped right in front of me and just stood there by the wall on the shallow end. I couldn't stop in time and push from the wall between them, forcing them to move aside. I was being more careful next lap, but they just kept standing there. There was plenty of space on the other side of the pool where they could stand and chat without bothering anyone, but they chose to stand right in front of me. So I continued swimming, pushing from the wall. If they refused to move, I just turned in water, making sure to make a big splash. I took a break to drink some water, and one of them started screaming at me how I got her hair all wet. I told her it's her fault and continued swimming. She waited for me in the changing rooms and went on about how I was inconsiderate and I ruined her hair. I told her to fuck off. She started going off at me and started screaming, calling me an arsehole and a bitch. I grabbed my stuff and went to one of the cubicles to have a shower and change. When I was leaving, they were talking to the manager. One of them was crying about her hair. I told my sister and she thinks I was an arsehole, but I didn't think so before. Now with my sister agreeing, I worry that I might have been. Am I the arsehole?" Edit. Just to add, I was the only person there when they came in. They had the whole pool to stand. They chose to purposely stand in front of me without swimming at all. Edit 2. The pool is 25 meters long, and you swim lengthwise, from deep to shallow end and back. They had the whole shallow end wall free, except for the meter or so I used for kicking off. I didn't take the whole shallow end. Who would do laps there, except for kids? Edit 3. While there's no designated lap lanes, lap swimming isn't forbidden. Typically, during open swim, 75% of swimmers do lap swimming. Edit 4. They weren't older ladies. They were about my age, early 30s. Edit 5. I didn't leave the pool to grab water. I had water on the edge along with my other stuff for drills, or my earplugs, etc. This is perfectly normal and acceptable. And we'll start in the comments with Sam, who says, "You're the arsehole. It's a public pool that doesn't do lane swimming. The first time you went by them and pushed them out of the way could maybe excused as an accident, but really how fast you were swimming that you couldn't stop in time, but then you kept doing it on purpose without even bothering to stop and say, 'Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm doing laps here. Would you mind moving over slightly so I can finish up?' And if there was plenty of room on the other side of the pool for them to stand, then there was also plenty of room on the other side of the pool for you to swim. Then when they continued to try and enjoy the shallow end of the pool, you started deliberately splashing them. You were absolutely the arsehole in this situation. They were right. You were being rude and inconsiderate. It wasn't their fault that their hair got wet. It was definitely yours for deliberately splashing her. The Spade Joker says, if you go to a pool but don't want to get your hair wet, you wear a cap. Simple as that. You were already there. Those two had all the pool space but chose to stand there and get mad at you for something they could have avoided in more than one way. Not the arsehole. Next commenter says, everyone sucks here. You missed the using your words to ask step before you decided to passive-aggressively splash them. They were being inconsiderate arseholes, but you escalated beyond what was necessary. Vaguely Cat-Shaped says, everyone sucks here. I read the comments, and if stopping for 2 minutes to politely ask them to move somewhere else would have made you lose your focus, then you shouldn't be doing your workout during community hours. Or you could have just started swimming away from them if the pool was empty, except for you three. It seems the only reason you didn't move was because they also could move and they didn't. That does seem like kind of a childish reason. However, it is a pool and this lady has to accept that her hair might get wet on accident and she shouldn't have started screaming and insulting you. Law Baker says, you're the arsehole. I'm a swimmer as well, but unless a pool has dedicated lap swimming, you aren't entitled to an entire length of pool. Part of the deal with lap swimming during rec hours is you'll lose your lane if the rec swimmers take up residence in your path. Extra, you're the arsehole for splashing on purpose and cursing at her. Oh, and that just gave me a little vision of a little event that happened a few months back that I just want to bring up in a second. So what do you guys make of this situation? The comments were literally all over the place. It was everyone sucks here, you're the arsehole, not the arsehole. But as I said, this reminded me of a situation that happened at a pool quite close to us. I was there with a couple of my nephews. They're quite young, and this pool it's not like a university pool. It's a family pool. Sometimes it does lane swimming, sometimes it doesn't. But this was like a family session kind of thing, and it has a wave machine that turns on like every 20 minutes or so. They do like waves for 10 minutes. But at the very end of the pool, there's 2 swimming lanes there as well. But when the waves happen, they shut the swimming lanes. And, you know, this is expected when you go in there. And I've never ever seen it before. This was the first time I've ever seen it happen. There was a guy swimming in there and he's going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It was wave time and the waves weren't turning on. They announced it on the microphone, waves coming in 5 minutes. 5 minutes goes by, the waves weren't turning on. We're all looking around. Where's the waves at? Kids are all excited. They're all over on one side of the pool getting ready because that's the best place for the waves. There's murmurs going around the pool. What's going on? What's going on? Is the wave machine broke? But then we noticed that they were trying to get one guy out of the swimming lanes. He wouldn't come out the swimming lane, so they couldn't turn on the wave machine. Whether he was just too focused on what was going on or not, but lifeguards were trying to get him out. They was talking to him, and then he just refused. He said, "No, I'm not getting out. I paid to be in here. You can wait until I finish my lanes." And he kept swimming. He kept swimming. I thought, oh, you cheeky bastard. At this point, I was getting excited. I was like, oh, a bit of drama here, you know. So this guy's still swimming up and down. Everyone, I'm talking everyone, because everyone moves to one side of the pool because the best waves are there, has stopped. They're all just like bobbing away, watching this guy swim up and down doing lengths. As I said, you could hear murmurs, and suddenly you can start to hear booing going on as well. Some people, boo. Eventually, he was booed out the pool. And there you go, just another little random event from my life there that sticks in my head. But what do you guys make of today's collection of stories? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for joining me today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. Okay, I know that today'll be a good day. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, drink some.